in the woods.
Oh, hell no. Dogman, the canine cryptid we've all come to know and fear. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Brookestirr Watches. Today, we're going to be taking a look at 5 historical facts about Dogman. So make sure you stay to the very end to see some creepy Dogman caught on camera as well. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a walk into the forest. So we all know the Egyptian god Anubis, right? Dog-headed, Jekyll-headed, dog-man type creature. Well, I was thinking about Set because he looks exactly like a dog man. Now, I was looking it up, and it's kind of like an unknown creature, but they calling it an aardvark, but his head kind of, I don't know, resembles to me a dog-headed, like he'd be another Anubis, like a dog-headed creature. But he is the god of darkness. He's almost the opposite of Anubis. Anubis is kind of like the more gentler god who takes souls to the afterlife. This is a pure darkness and chaos. But there's always a purpose for these gods, so let's go ahead and give it a listen. This is actually by Mythology Explained, and it's called The Dark Deity Who Killed Gods and Destroyed Chaos. So yeah, we're talking about Set here. So let's go ahead and give it a listen. Make sure to go give him a like, okay?
Isis, Set, and Nephthys, 2 divine brother-sister pairs. Osiris and Isis joined in marriage, and Set and Nephthys joined in marriage. Though Set was incorporated into the Heliopolitan Ennead, evidence of him existing as a god is much older than this particular grouping of gods, which takes us to one of the most important things to understand about Egyptian mythology, the scope of it. The Egyptian Empire endured for thousands of years over a large geographic area, its strength waxing and waning throughout, vacillating between times of dominance and times of occupation and subjugation. As you can imagine, 3,000 years bears witness to a lot of change. New gods emerging, old gods fading to irrelevance, power and prominence rising and falling like the annual inundation and recession of the Nile, provinces and purviews shifting like the very sands that sprawl over Egypt, like an unending, undulating sea of silica. Because of this, Egyptian gods are often especially complex figures, who they were 5,000 years ago often being very different from who they were 4,000, 3,000, or 2,000 years ago, cults subsiding, superseding, and subsuming. Set is a salient example of this, and asking who Set was requires contextualization, because the answer to that question changed significantly over millennia. Pertaining to Set, we see a transition from veneration to vilification. Set was originally a god of the desert, associated with disturbance and disharmony. And in this capacity, he is attested to from the very beginning of ancient Egyptian history, even as far back as pre-dynastic Egypt, which began about 8,000 years ago in 6,000 BC and ended about 5,100 years ago in 3,100 BC. The end of the pre-dynastic period is when the early dynastic period began, and the beginning of the early dynastic period is marked by the advent of the Pharaonic Age and the first unification of Upper and Lower Egypt, meaning Set, his mythology, is older than the era of pharaohs ruling Egypt and is older than the pyramids, most of which weren't built until the time of the Old Kingdom, a period spanning roughly from 2686 BC to 2181 BC. The ancientness of Set's cult is evidenced by, among other things, an ivory artifact carved in Set's likeness that dates back to sometime between 4000 BC and 3500 BC. By the time of the Middle Kingdom, roughly 2055 BC to 1650 BC, Set's eminence had declined, absorbed into the mythology of the sun god, on whose bark Set was now commonly depicted as a defender, battling the chaos serpent Apophis each night in the underworld, something we'll elaborate on later in the video.
So I thought this was pretty interesting just to kind of go along with our first video. This explains more about Egypt. This explains more about Set and Anubis along with the other gods of Egypt. And yeah, so, you know, just a little bit of a backstory here with Egypt in 60 seconds, which is very, very impressive. So of the Egyptian gods, I mean. So, yeah, let's go ahead and give it a watch.
Egyptian mythology explained in 60 seconds. This was a world where gods walked among men. Pharaohs were gods, and the afterlife held eternal secrets. The prime god was Ra, the sun god, who rose and set every day, bringing light and warmth with him. In the cosmic struggle between chaos and order, Set, the embodiment of darkness, challenged Osiris, the god of fertility and renewal. Their battle symbolized the eternal conflict that shaped the world. Osiris died, and
like
Isis, the mother goddess, resurrected him by her power. The Nile nourished their civilization by delivering vitality to their crops. The jackal-headed deity Anubis guided souls through the afterlife, and the pharaohs, who were thought to be divine, reigned with might and wisdom. Death was simply the next step. Mummification was a method of preserving bodies for the afterlife. The Book of the Dead helped spirits through difficult trials. Souls were judged in the afterlife. Their hearts were measured against Ma'at's feather, the goddess of truth and justice. If found worthy, they entered the field of reeds, a paradise where they could live forever.
The ancient and medieval world was filled with the
So that was kind of like focused on more of like Anubis and what he does. So yeah, that is, you know, Anubis being one of the very, very, very first Dogman. And I believe Set is actually a part of that Dogman entity as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Set is actually a Dogman? Or do you think it's an aardvark? I mean, come on. An aardvark? I mean, yeah, they're cute and all, but it doesn't sound like chaos to me. A Dogman does, though. This is another historical video, and it's called The Forgotten Age of a Dog-Headed Men, and it's by Thought Potato. So you know what to do. Go put your paws up on his like button, as well as put your paws up on mine. Thanks, guys.
In these eras,
it really helps the algorithm. I know it's so silly. I know it's so silly, guys, but it really, really does help all of our algorithms here on YouTube. You know, the YouTube creators that you like, please give it a like. And give us a subscribe, too. It really, really helps.
Was a source of fear. The edges of maritime maps warned of hulking monsters waiting to devour any who would sail beyond their ordained territory, while the most exotic places on the planet were said to be the home of frightening, malformed beasts, humanoid creatures with their faces in their torsos, or who shaded themselves with a single enormous foot. But at the time, perhaps the most well-known of all these bizarre beings were the cynocephaly, a race of dog-headed people who lived well outside the realms of civilized society. In those past ages, these canine hominids weren't mythical, they were a virtual certainty, so much so that questions of their intrinsic humanity was debated among scholars and church fathers alike. But just who were the cynocephaly? Were they a myth dreamed up by oral tradition? Why do legends of similar dog-human hybrids appear throughout different ages and cultures? Or is it possible that such a people actually existed? Settle in, dear traveler, because the answers to those questions will take us on a journey across continents and through time.
Nice.
One of the earliest accounts of the cynocephaly dates back to around 400 BC. In Indica, Greek physician Ctesias describes the wondrous land now known as India, where trees grew to staggering heights, elephants roamed the jungles, and a race of dog-headed people inhabited the lofty and inaccessible mountains. They speak no language but bark like dogs, and in this manner make themselves understood by each other. They understand the Indian language but are unable to converse, only barking or making signs with their hands and fingers by way of reply. They live on raw meat. Ctesias goes on to say that these strange people are agile and efficient hunters, though they also breed livestock and have established trade routes with the king of India. But although they were clearly intelligent creatures, Ctesias notes that they preferred to live in caves and sleep on the ground, as opposed to the idealized version of society the Greeks were used to.
He looks like he's dancing and having a good old time. Nice.
Claims that they are just and live longer than any other men, 170, sometimes 200 years. At a time when the average life expectancy was around 40 years old, this was a very long lifespan. Centuries later, the famous explorer Marco Polo described a similar people, this time localized to the Andaman Islands. But unlike Theseus' description, these cynocephali were far more vicious and barbaric. The people are without a king and idolaters, and no better than wild beasts. And I assure you, all the men of this island of Angamanen have heads like dogs, and teeth and eyes likewise. In fact, in the face they are all just like big mastiff dogs. They have a quantity of spices, but they are a most cruel generation, and eat everybody that they can catch, if not their own race. They live on flesh and rice and milk, and have fruits different from any of ours. Of course, the infamous John Mandeville also published an account of the cynocephaly in his travels, which circulated in the mid to late 1300s. This account is more similar to Theseus in that the cynocephaly are described as intelligent and reasonable, even devout, with the only odd characteristic being that they tend to eat their prisoners of war. After that isle go men by the sea ocean, by many isles, unto an isle that is clept Nakumera, that is a great isle, and good and fair. And all the men and women of that isle have hounds' heads, and they be clept cynocephales, and they be full reasonable and of good understanding, save that they worship an ox for their god. And also every one of them beareth an ox of gold or silver in his forehead, in token that they love well their god. They be great folk and well fighting, and if they take any man in battle, anon they eat him.
Holy moly! Now, to see more of that video, please go over and give Thought Potato a like and give his full video a watch. Like, you really want to go watch it. So this next one right here is another history of the dog-headed men. And it's called Dog-Headed Men from History Are Real. The Cynocephaly Sightings. And it's by Universe Inside You. So please, you know what to do. Go put your paws up on their like button, as well as put your paws up on mine. Thanks, guys. All right, let's give it a listen.
For some 1,500 years following the original accounts of the Cynocephaly, many explorers, conquerors, and even Christian missionaries claim to have seen and interacted with these dog-headed people. Even King Arthur joined the witnesses when he and his army allegedly defeated a band of dog-headed soldiers in the mountains surrounding Edinburgh, Scotland. In Orthodox Christian history, both St. Christopher and St. Andrew are regularly depicted in ancient artwork with dog heads.
St. Andrew too?
St. Christopher repented and was transformed to become entirely human. Of course, now this is all said to be symbolic, but it leaves you wondering.
For real.
St. Augustine, who lived in 430, was one of the most influential Christian fathers. And he spoke of the existence of the Cynocephaly and other peculiar races, claiming that he personally preached them the gospel. And through his accounts, they became recognized as morally dumb, sometimes even demonic, but nonetheless redeemable. One Italian traveler in the 13th century, and the first European to document the Mongols, told of an encounter between armies of the Khan and a dog-headed people near Lake Baikal in what is now Russia. He said that monsters had men's heads but dogs' faces. He said they spoke, as it were, in words that were more like a barking of a dog. One lesser-known account of the Cynocephaly in Orthodox Christianity was that of the Christian theologian Ratchimnus. One of his monks asked him, "What do I do when I encounter the dog-heads? Can I save their souls? Do I preach to them? Or do I look at them as animals?" For the church clearly claimed they were beasts. Ratchimnus was concerned, and he consulted his elder. In a letter on the dog-headed creatures, he tries to persuade his superior that the dog-heads were in fact sons of Adam, and that they should be allowed to convert to Christianity and not treated as animals.
I am like a history buff on this stuff. I mean, I absolutely freaking love it, guys. Like, what do you think about that? Those freaking historically documented encounters of freaking dogmen. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, Wolfpack, this one right here, this is what we've been waiting for, the visual things. Like, let's see an actual dogman, right? Sorry, hold on. Okay, still filming. All right, yeah, let's see an actual dogman, right? That's what we all want to see. We want to see one. Well, you know, no video is actually really good, but, you know, like clear images, some are very clear and very distinct, but it's very rare and far in between. So this one right here is by NVTV, and it's called 5 Disturbing Videos of Dogman Caught on Camera. So please, you know what to do. Out of respect, go give them a like. I do share their videos a lot just because the visual aspect of it. So let's go ahead and give it a watch. It says, scared man films a creepy dog man with glowing eyes. I'm scared already.
Out in the woods.
Oh, hell no.
Hello?
Hello? Like it hears you?
Hello?
Well, maybe it does. Oh my God. That is so creepy. Ugh. Oh my gosh. That definitely looks like eyes. Like, that's glowing red eyes. Oh, oh, hell no. Nope. And then we've got this one right here, which I cannot make my mind up on that if that is actually real or CGI. I mean, the way that they got it looping. The way that they've got it looping like that. Man, that's just creepy as heck. Look at that. Wow, that is just creepy. What do y'all think about that one? Let me know in the comments below. Well, everyone, what did you think of those 5 historical dogman facts? Let me know in the comments below. Have you ever seen a dogman? Has your friend seen one? Let us know. You can email me or you can drop your story down in the comments and I'll share it on here. Thank you so much, Wolfpack, for all of your likes, your shares, and your subscribes. Welcome to all the new wolves in the Wolfpack. Paws up. And thank you to all the members. Lori is the only member so far, but I am working on some new membership things and it's going to be my own evidence from my own backyard. So you don't want to miss that. Sign up for memberships. It's only $2.99. Thank you guys for watching. And until the next time, bye.